Good afternoon, Arcadia community. Welcome to my bi-weekly Executive Principal newsletter and happy Friday. The change to the working week seems to be going very, very well here at the school with little to no disruptions at all. So thank you for your support with that. Of course, we continue with our KHDA Dubai-based COVID restrictions until the end of January. So we are expecting some changes to be represented next week to our working conditions because currently we're unable to complete our outbound ECAs in the middle of the day. Also that our PE lessons have been restricted to classrooms. And of course, we can't use our canteen, and all trips are still postponed. And we are working hard with our providers to ensure that our children still get to access our challenging adventure trips from upper primary in the coming weeks ahead. Miss Donnelly has put into the newsletter today some important FAQs about COVID. Inevitably, with the Omicron variant, which is very transmissible, we are still having to open and close classes. It is highly likely this will impact your child at some time, either in the previous 2 weeks or certainly in the next 2 weeks, as the mild transmission moves through our community. What I will say, please do not send your child to school if they have any symptoms at all. Omicron is very mild, but presents itself as sort of winter cold conditions, and we know it is very transmissible, and we are working very hard to continue to keep our sanitization process in place here, mask wearing, social distancing, and are following carefully the DHA and KHDA protocols for closing classes as we move to see the end, we hope, of this pandemic. Of course, you will also notice that some changes to the protocol across the city, which has meant that those working in medical facilities and staff no longer have to quarantine if they are close contact tracers. So we are hoping to see some changes also in the education protocols in the course of the next few weeks. We're delighted this week to announce that Chris Shrubsole, one of our Year 6 teachers who has a business degree background, has been appointed as our Junior MBA Ambassador. Chris has already looked at reworking the curriculum program, increasing the teaching time for our children from Year 1 to Year 6, and we're really excited about that program. Also, as part of our Junior MBA, we had our guest speaker this week called Nadine Bent Jafai, who Nadine was the co-founder or the founder of Tocado Mexican Kitchen here, amongst another number of notable investments throughout the world. She was a fantastic representative to have to interview and gave lots of interesting information back to our students about her startups, her mindset and entrepreneurship in total. Of course, we have applied for our date changes via the KHDA as we've shifted our working week forward, including the half-term break dates, the end of term dates, and we are still awaiting the approval from KHDA before we can formally publish those, but the proposed dates have been sent to you in a previous newsletter. Also, up-and-coming events on Wednesday the 26th. Of January, we have our Key Stage 4 Options Information Evening for our Year 9 students and any students in Year 8 who may be interested in attending to find out the exciting parts about our programme for the next 2 years of IGCSE. And also, we are now starting our transition of our Year 6 students. We've already moved to a middle school teaching approach, and a letter will come out early next week highlighting the transition movement of the students from Year 6 into Year 7, and we'll be having a webinar on February the 9th to introduce all of those fun and interesting attributes of the Key Stage 3 programme and continuing to look at transition activities throughout the remainder of this year. Earlier this week, I sent out our Net Promoter Score survey. I've had 122 responses in the first 3 days, which is wonderful. Really like to try and get this up around 220 to 250, so over 50% of our population. So please, if you haven't completed the survey, it's very, very simple. Only takes 2 to 3 minutes, and I'd be delighted if you could do that. The response rate has been exceptional at the moment, and the NPS score is sitting up in the late 70s, early 80s in positivity from the community about Arcadia. And we know we've got a wonderful school here, and thank you very much for all your support with the survey so far. I wish you and your families a wonderful, restful weekend ahead.